any other series. Just going to continue with this one. Yep. And let's see how they do here on Expedition Lost.
Yeah. One of the new maps. It's a good map. I like this map.
Did you guys see the new maps that are coming in?
Yeah, I did actually.
I actually haven't read anything on them. I've been actually really slack.
Honestly, the Echo map looks kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. To be honest, like, I'm not a big fan of, and I'm gonna just be really honest because we're having this cool little stream. Like, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of contest maps being in the ladder pool. I just don't.
You don't like the community?
I mean, I just don't. I'm like, you asked a real question. I'll talk about the
interview with Wolf today.
I'll talk about the community some other time because I have a lot of things to say about that. But we have, game designers working on this, and then we have community-made maps. Like, can a community-made map become good enough? Yeah, it definitely can. And some of the best maps we have in the pool are community-based. But I feel like what we have seen in the past sometimes is a community-made map become a tournament map and then get republished on the ladder with basically updated terrain and looking better. I feel like some of the maps we have that are community-made look like they could be really good maps, but they just don't look like they're polished enough to be ladder maps to me. And that's basically how I feel about the maps. They look cool, but they're not pretty enough for me. I'm like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can agree with that.
Need a little bit more shine on the maps.
I'm trying to think of the older maps we've had that were community made, so I could critique them. But I've never actually been a huge follower of where the maps come from.
Yeah, me too.
I kind of just ladder.
I'm not sure.
Well, okay, these are the new map.
What about King Sejong Station? Was that community?
That's a Korean-made map made by a map maker that works with Caspa. And the first maps that were ever played in StarCraft 2 tournaments that were actually made by somebody who was not at Blizzard. Like, the first maps ever ended up being in a ladder pool that were non-Blizzard made were like Terminus Re and Tall Dream Altar, and they were GSL maps. And that was back in the day when the entire community was begging for us to not have Steps of War and stuff like that in the GSL map pool.
Right.
Our Toast was a big proponent of, hey, we got to get new maps. And even the Korean community as well was just like, God, these maps are terrible. Those are the first maps we had that were non-Blizzard made maps.
Okay, I wasn't a fan of Tal'Darim, that's for sure.
What do you guys think about Iron Fortress being put in the pool? GSL map?
I don't really like that map.
I don't like that map
either.
I'm
kind of with you guys on that.
I mean, I love, for instance, Vani Research. I love this map. These are the two best maps that came out of the newer-ish kind of map pool, but I haven't seen the ones that were released just the other day yet.
What about Inferno Pools, man?
Yeah, why is that still in the pool?
No, that needs to go. That had to go before it even...
Well, it's still in the pool. Sorry to tell you,
Well, that map
Season
is
2.
Actually horrible. It's a horrible map.
At least they removed Secret Spring, okay?
We don't know exactly which maps are going to be in the Legacy pool yet, do we?
Not that I know of.
I think they said they
sure.
were going to use some of the Team Liquid maps in there, so I'm guessing the new ones
Okay.
will probably be there. But I hope we get to see totally new maps as well.
Yeah.
Looks like a little poke here using that SCV for some tanking. aLive's coming up here, and you know what? He might actually be able to slow this CC down. He's going to target that SCV. Goodbye.
Well, if he gets at least one of these...
Oh, and a bunker, too. I think that's a bit aggressive. I don't know about that.
Way too ambitious, man. He should have just kept that SCV alive, too.
Ooh, nice targeting there.
Oh, but Hellion comes.
This is what happens when you don't have an observing PC. You're like, oh, there's a Hellion.
Yeah. At least he finished that CC. That's pretty huge. You can start making that into an orbital. Don't lose too much more time.
Don't want to lose the Hellion.
Decent shot there, though.
No, I don't. This is too much. Don't do it aLive. Don't do it.
Don't do it, man. Go back. And he's a bit behind on that natural expansion, but nice little bit of damage there, getting 5 SCVs.
Yeah, pretty important early on, mirror match. We do have second gas coming up here for FanTaSy. Looks like Banshees once again.
Yeah. That Hellion come back to get the repair job because sometimes life's just too dangerous.
Not a Banshee. He's going to be, to begin things off at least, Medivac here. All right, so they're probably just going to go for that drop that we did see aLive go for last game, essentially. Just not slowed down this time.
A lot of Hellions
here. Sees everything.
Yeah. Just when he's beefing up on the Hellions, wants to do that early Hellion pressure we've seen sometimes in TDT. And things are just starting to end up looking like a normal TVT.
Just looking exactly like last game. Well,
yeah, kind of calming down here.
I don't know, man. I hope they haven't played through all the True versus Guilty game. That's all I got to say, man.
I'm sure we'll get to see some other games because this series looks like it might be ending pretty quick compared to, you know, say like that other TVZ, probably going to go a bit longer. I would expect and hope.
Hope so, man. So yeah, no bouncies at all out of FanTaSy, actually. He just goes for double Viking, and now he's going into the bouncy. So he's trying to be a bit defensive here, it looks like.
Okay, well, this is not spotted until they're all unloaded, but still I think he's got plenty to defend. It's just gonna have, he's just going to have to make sure he doesn't let his two aliens get too clumped up there.
Ooh, a lot of damage.
Yeah, really nice micro out of aLive, actually.
Yeah.
With his aliens.
Ooh, keeping that Medivac alive as well was pretty sick. Oh, he could have got a big shot there if he was paying attention. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Every SDV was on that one mineral pad for a second. That
Oh
was
my god.
Not the best control out of FanTaSy's units either. He didn't really split his Marines much at all, but he clears it up. And worker count ends up being pretty even.
And with that drop, he does get a full scout of the main base as well. So if he was paying attention, it's kind of hard to do when you're microing your Hellions, of course, but if he looked at that tech lab, you will know Cloak is on the way with the Banshees. But let's see. Does get that Raven out, so I think he knows.
Yeah. Raven's going to be great in like a lot of different scenarios also later on in the game. That PDD pretty good still.
Yeah, we do see some PDD some tart drops now and then. You know, Raven, once it's got a lot of energy, drop maybe 3 behind the mineral patch, disrupts more mining. And
So-
yeah, it's just going to shut down the Banshees for the longest time.
Moonglade, you're a Zerg. You'll probably know the answer to this question. And if you don't feel obligated. But when does the Swarm Host patch hit Korea? Is that like this week? Is that the same time as the beta? I actually can't remember the date.
I think it might be. Like, I actually don't know the date either. Like, it's also one of the other things I just don't keep track of is anything like this.
Yeah, sure.
All I do is play the game and watch it, man. I'm horrible at reading the Blizzard posts.
Okay,
But it should be this week.
Yeah, I think it's this week. I was just curious. Like, I was kind of scared you were gonna be like, it already happened, Wolf. I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
No. I certainly would have noticed last night if it did happen.
Yeah. I think it would have been more than obvious.
They're gonna be like, Wolf, weren't you watching my stream last night? I was doing Flying Locust all night. I'm like, oh, sorry.
Do we actually get the Flying Locusts this patch?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Really?
At the very least, it's the rework is in, and the nerf to the PDD as well. That's why I thought of this.
I have no idea what Zerg are gonna do against Mech and the like Protoss Death Balls late game without the Swarm Hosts.
It seems to be like the Swarm Host Flying Locust kind of swoop in like Broodlord rulings. So like maybe you can kind of like just jump on top of all the mech with them. It still seems kind of weak. I don't know.
I actually you can kill Colossus pretty efficiently with Flying Locusts. I did that when I was testing it at BlizzCon. I did it to Rotterdam actually. You had like mass Colossus, and I had mass Swarm Hosts fly in with their Flying Locusts and surround the Colossus and kill them.
Oh boy.
It's ridiculous.
Nothing better than killing Rotterdam with Flying Locust.
But I mean, like the cooldown on them is like what, a minute now or something crazy. Like you're not going to be able to like send wave after wave to like shut down Death Balls and mech armies and whatnot. It's just it's so hard.
Yeah, it's just simply going to require a ton more micromanagement as well. Like, you're going to have to manage the waves yourself. You're going to have to keep track of the cooldowns and know exactly when to send those waves. You're probably going to have to send a wave, move your Swarmos somewhere else to make sure they're safe because it's such a long cooldown.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you don't even have to bury them these days. You can just drop the eggs and run.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. That's one. You have to upgrade bury if you want them to bury. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to a change, but
Yeah.
and at the same time, I'm kind of fearful because I can't. My mind isn't open enough to kind of look at it like life does and be like, you don't need Swarm Host, you just need this Zergling Rush.
Well, to me, the biggest thing that I like about the change is the fact that it's actually changing. You know, that Blizzard is like finally changing stuff that a lot of people in the community have not been happy with. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just keeping it this way for like a super long time, I'm sure a lot of people would actually argue it's been like this for too long. But at least they're finally doing it. They're changing it up. We'll see if it actually works out and if it's a good change. But again, we'll just have to wait and see and get a lot of the pro players to test.
Yeah.
This Raven, I don't know. I mean, tanking him big time, I guess.
Pretty
I don't know about that.
position for aLive right now, actually. Like, look at those tanks are. This is a hard place to fight
Oh
from.
god, he
Oh,
didn't even realize that he's eating so much damage. aLive's gonna win this fight, and now he can kill that depot and start killing some add-ons.
You know, aLive attacked before he had stim and combat shields.
Balls of steel, man.
Well, that Banshee's in a really good spot. Nicely done. This is the one saving grace here. He's actually gonna be able to target these down as well. Get those Medivacs!
Oh,
One!
boy.
Oh, got the big one.
Yeah, that's nice. aLive needs to be careful about overcommitting here. Oh, boy, this counterattack could do a lot of damage, too.
He's actually just, rallying his units across the map as much as possible, and there's nothing to defend that third base.
Yeah, he has to do damage here as well because he is pretty behind in economy and supply. This is going to do some pretty good. If he can get rid of the CC, actually, this is going to be like the biggest win of all.
He might be able to, actually. He might actually be able to kill that.
Maybe.
Where are the reinforcements? Okay, they're coming up slowly, one by one. They do have that armor upgrade now, at least.
Tank should deny it there.
Yeah, this should be fine.
Ooh, this is bad.
This is so risky here.
Unless he drops on top of him, but he's going to be on Johnny on the spot with the Marines.
Oh, boy, I don't know. I actually don't think that FanTaSy should have done that. But, he's going to clean up the high ground, but he's losing a lot of Marines.
Oh, he's going to drop it.
Oh,
no, he can't.
Too many Marines there.
This is actually just so scrappy between these two. They're both making so many, split-second, really risky choices, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, well, I liked what FanTaSy wanted to do, siege up above the tanks, and, if he gets a good hit, it's going to be amazing. But at the same time, he didn't move his Marines forward, which he really needed to stop those Marines dropping on top of his tanks.
I think he may end up losing this drop if he's not super paying attention. Okay.
Turns out he is super paying attention.
Turns out he watches his mini-map like a hawk.
Ooh, look at this. Live doesn't even know about that third base. Look at the worker discrepancy here. That third base for FanTaSy is totally saturated, whereas aLive is having a bit of trouble.
It's been untouched this whole time.
Yeah.
One sort of problem aLive had, he kind of tunnel vision on sieging the main base when he could have been doing a separate drop to that third and shutting down the economy, essentially, of FanTaSy.
Ooh, catching some tanks, but still, he's not going to be able to stick around. Siege tank count is much better here for aLive. It's 6-3, so he's going to try to use that to bully FanTaSy a little bit here, and I like this choice. I wish we could check the Viking count because I'm really not sure at this point who really has control.
There it is. 0-0. 0-0.
A lot more medevacs for FanTaSy, though, which he can use to combat these siege tanks. Especially when there's no Vikings for his opponent. You might be able to get a few drops off.
Well, here we go with another counterattack.
Yeah, what is the defense here? That is the question.
There's a Tastelope.
Just some Marines, but not enough.
Yep. There goes a lot more SCVs. Not the CC, though. No way.
Nah, he's going to damage it pretty significantly, but that's about it.
Yeah.
He's going to even take a little bit of a trade here, force some repairs. Don't know if he should have stayed that long, but he was paying attention to the middle of the map.
He should have definitely focused more SCVs, I think, with his Marines instead of trying to trade with Marines on the medivacs.
Look at the production tab. You can just see FanTaSy just has a much better economy. His army is smaller for a while, but he's just got a massive amount of production.
Look at that gas bank for aLive right now.
This is a pretty good position for aLive, though. If he can get on top of this third, these tanks are going to siege faster.
Oh, that is not the greatest siege out of FanTaSy.
Wow, he gets the one tank that was in place. Everything else kind of in a horrible position. Whoa.
Yeah, and this is aLive's chance to catch up in economy while his base isn't mining. Just got such a great position. He could just continue to hold this. And FanTaSy's probably going to have to move to the base that's below his main, I think. I mean, what else can he do? Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do because there's no way he's going to retake this third base. Yep. Absolutely not.
No way.
Too good of a position for aLive.
Instead, we are going to see that counter-attack, counter-drop from FanTaSy. Going to be spotted there. Looks like we might see Marines actually stim under them.
Both of these players really floating a lot of minerals and gas. It's pretty insane.
Oh my god. That just happened.
That's the money chunk right there.
The money chunk.
That feels so good. That must feel so good, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that's like... I mean, you ever feed back 2 full medevacs, you know they're full, and you're just like, feedback, you're like, hell yeah.
Another good fight for FanTaSy there.
No. Well...
Chunking down a lot. He could... Yeah. No, maybe not getting some of them, yeah.
Well, he just totally shreked that army. Almost makes up for what he just lost.
Now with a big drop. It's going to be spotted, but is there anything there? Yep. Plenty.
I think it's time to get some Vikings out. I mean,
You'd think so, right?
Vikings could help shut this sort of thing down and also give you air vision so you could start taking little fights, little skirmishes a little bit better.
Well, that's essentially what you need in a tank fight. You have to have the air dominance, and so you can, push without having to scan every single time.
FanTaSy is poised to move around the bottom of the map, but this leaves him a little bit vulnerable at his natural for this massive drop coming around here.
Scan comes down, but I think he actually missed it.
Yeah,
that's a huge drop going in his natural.
He's got nothing. He's going to even split them because he knows that there's nothing here.
Now, FanTaSy's going to have to make this work somehow, but the tank's already sieged up. That's so much damage.
Look at all those call-down supply depots he's going to kill, too. Well, actually, that's only one. It's just a different skin. Never mind. But there's still one call-down supply there. Yeah, that's something cool we get to see as aLive. prefers to use like the standard Marine skin, whereas FanTaSy likes to use all of his skins. This is actually their personal accounts they're playing on right now.
Right. You think it'd be banned, perhaps? I'm sure some tournaments ban him. I mean, it can kind of like be a little distracting and make things look a little bit different. I know, especially for Zerglings, it's a lot harder to tell if they've been upgraded or not.
I'm pretty sure it's definitely banned in the GSL. I don't know about other tournaments though.
Okay.
FanTaSy going hard right now. Big push here. He's got all of his units together, but there was one drop going in at the third,
man.
actually.
Look at this. The tanks are completely cut off for the rest of the bio.
Yep. And look at that spread, too. He's just going to surround and crush these. But look, it just ends up being a fairly even trade. But I think the next phase here is just, it's not good enough for aLive the trades. He's losing too much. And now he's lost control of his third base. Every single one of those SCVs are going to go down if he traps them.
You should get the CC.
Oh, but meanwhile, it looks like a lot of damage going down over here.
Yep, this is what I was talking about. 36 SCVs going down. That's pretty insane. He's lost a ton of his economy.
That's like a double or triple drop or something.
But then again, look at the army supplies right now. FanTaSy very far ahead, 30.
The right choice here is obvious from our perspective. It's to drop like 6 medevacs into the main base. He has 12 medevacs and 66 Marines. That is his advantage. It's his mobility.
Oh my god.
I think we're going to see that. I think he's just going to jump into the main.
He's going to get the same position that aLive got on him last time. And here's that big drop right on top of a ton of Marines.
Don't do that.
He waited too long.
Oh my god, yeah. He did wait too long. That was almost the throw, man. But look at his army. His army is miles ahead. It's just about finishing
Look at
the
these
job.
upgrade timings, by the way, for both players. 2-2 for everybody.
Concave advantage for aLive. FanTaSy gonna have to turn around.
Oh my god. This is so many Marines coming across. FanTaSy, you don't want to fight with your entire army, okay?
Need his tanks,
aLive's
man.
doing the same thing.
I want to see what's the Marine count here? 64 to 32.
Wow, it's like 64-bit computer versus 32-bit, man.
We know who wins that one.
Hell yeah.
Here comes
Oh
the drop.
boy.
Well, this is the end. It's just he got overwhelmed. He had way too much bank. The whole time, FanTaSy's been making more and more siege tanks, more and more Marines. aLive just did not have the economy to compete. And this is going to be the end of it.
Yep,
It's looking like it.
Still a decent-sized amount of Marines for aLive there. That was a costly drop after all. Look at the supply difference now, only 20.
He's camping the production facilities, and there's no way those tanks can get up the ramp.
Oh, and he got the full medivac with that 2 Vikings. What the hell?
All right.
I have to say, this wasn't the cleanest game we've ever seen.
No, I think I need a shower after this game.
Well, this was definitely a fun one for sure.
It was definitely a very interesting one. I thought aLive was going to get away with this one.
He was looking okay. He was making some good decisions, but not good
GG.
enough. FanTaSy wins. And there you have it. aLive will not qualify for the SSL.
You know, I'm not actually sure. There could be double elimination.
I don't know. I don't think there is.
No.
I don't think so.
From
Not
last time.
Not
like,
for round 1. When it gets to the semifinals of the group,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
then it goes to double elimination.
Yeah,